Hi, welcome to Try Something New. This is edition number 3, and we're still experimenting. So, before we begin, and our fearless chef, Lee Negrelli, teaches us how to make all things ramen, more or less, I needed to do a couple of shout-outs. First, to Lee and Wild Spork for doing this with us, and to Old Fashioned Ways.
Old Familiar Ways.
Old Familiar Ways. Why can I never get that right? And I go there a lot. To Old Familiar Ways for providing us with the herbs and spices that we've been using in this process. And I promise, next month we will do something normal, not fennel and lemongrass, which made perfect sense at the time. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much for joining us. And on with the show. Oh, no, wait, one more shout out. Amy McCormick, thank you so much for gifting us with all of these wonderful, brand new to us, no, brand new, period, just straight out of the box, kitchen utensils for our as yet unnamed kitchen. Thanks.
Okay. So we're making ramen today. As with everything that we are doing here, we're trying to make it super versatile so you can do whatever you want with whatever you have and sort of just plug it into this formula. So the first thing we're going to do today is make this sauce because we are using that dried lemongrass that we got from Old Familiar Ways. So we're going to essentially turn our stir-fry sauce, which also can be a broth if you'd rather your ramen be soup. We're going to almost do it like tea, so we're sort of going to steep the dried lemongrass in the sauce, and then we're going to strain it out so we're not eating the actual grass part. So, stir-fry sauce, we're going to do equal parts of water and soy sauce, which if you are gluten-free, just look for tamari, which is just gluten-free soy sauce. I should have taken the cap off here so we can get a little thicker pour.
Yeah.
It's okay, we got time. Alright, so soy sauce on its own, even though it's the base flavor of the sauce, is too strong, so we cut it with water, and then we're going to put in just a little bit of rice vinegar, which is totally optional, and some sugar. I'm using regular sugar. You can use brown sugar, you can use agave, you can use maple syrup, just something to get it sweet. And actually, you could also use like orange juice or something. And if you use orange juice, you really wouldn't need the vinegar either, because you're getting more acid and sweetness.
Oh.
To do it like that.
Oh, yeah, I do.
I didn't have any orange juice, or else that's what we would do. Alright, so we're just going to whisk that together to dissolve the sugar. And that's just going to go in a small saucepan with our dried lemongrass. So because it's dried, and you can use this with any dry spice, kind of like mash it up in your hand a little bit, it will release some of the oils that are in there and hopefully get us a stronger flavor release. I don't know which burner's which, but we're using them both. So once we heat up this soy sauce mixture, we're going to take it off of the heat. We're eventually going to thicken our sauce. Okay, so while that sauce is heating, we're going to go ahead and do the vegetables. So we're going to stir fry the vegetables, and so I mentioned this could be that we're stir-frying the noodles today, and this could also be a soup. So basically you have to cook the vegetables either way. We're going to just do them in oil, and you can use any vegetables you want. So the first thing we're going to do is chop our garlic. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing.
No, yeah.
We just have stuff everywhere, it's okay. Alright, so this garlic still has a skin, so I'm just kind of pressing it, and then the skins will break apart. They're easier to get off that way.
Didn't bring your cool
I did-
garlic rolling device.
I didn't bring my cool garlic rolling device. I do have a garlic peeler. It's just like a rubber tube that you stick the garlic in and smush it around, and it works really well.
It's also something you totally don't need ever in your life.
You don't need it until you want to peel like a whole head of garlic or more, and it takes forever. Sometimes they get real sticky. But that's one of my only kitchen gadgets we found out. I'm not a gadget person. Okay, so just a rough chop on the garlic. We really just want to release the flavor into the oil. So we're gonna put a little bit of oil in our skillet.
What kind of oil are you using, Lee?
That's a canola oil. You can also use vegetable oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, anything that is a neutral flavor, so not olive oil, and something with a higher smoke point, because we are going to go sort of high heat on this. So once that gets hot, we're going to just put all the vegetables in at once.
Explain smoke point while you're talking.
Yeah, so smoke point is the temperature at which your oil is going to start to smoke and then burn. So olive oil has a very low smoke point. I don't know what the temperatures are off the top of my head, but your vegetable oil, canola oil, generally speaking, the lighter color oils are going to be able to withstand a hotter heat than something that's more of like a thicker, greenish, opaque type color. So anytime you're doing a stir fry or frying of any kind, you want to go with that. You don't want to ever fry anything in olive oil. It breaks down, it creates carrots rolling away, free radicals, and whatnot.
Oh, so I've been killing people for years.
Could be. No, it's fine. Just, do some Googling if you're interested in that. So you can tell when oil is starting to get hot because you can see kind of a shimmer across the top of the surface. Almost like how oil is in water on a parking lot. You can just see almost like a texture of the top. So that's when you know it's hot. So we're going to go ahead and put in our carrots and garlic. We're going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper, not really enough to make it spicy necessarily, because I don't think these ladies like heat so much, but enough to just add some flavor.
Hey, no ladies in this room.
What?
There ain't no ladies in this room.
And then broccoli, I have green onions, I have a lot of vegetables, I guess. Have some stringless sugar snap peas, so we didn't even have to peel them. Usually you have to kind of break them apart and pull the thread out. We're just going to dump all these in. And you can use any vegetables that you have. There's really no rules here. Maybe not like potatoes. What else would be bad in a stir fry? Pretty much anything goes.
Celery, spinach.
Yeah, this can be a total clean out your fridge meal. Whatever you got, put it in.
It's just, like I would add peppers as a last spinach.
Peppers totally work. Eggplant works. Green beans work. So the only real kind of rule here, I guess, is to cut things in a size that they're all going to cook at the same speed. Carrots might take a little longer to cook. I should have put the peas in last. The broccoli will take a little longer to cook, so I'm going to cut it smaller. And so I'm only using the florets for this, but if you have the whole stalk of broccoli, you can use it in this. Just cut it up thin, small, like we did here. But also you can save those for soup. You can just boil it up, throw it in a blender with some cooked potatoes, and make broccoli soup that takes like 10 minutes. Maybe we'll do a show here one day on how to use your broccoli stalks.
You should do that.
We could totally do that.
All those things that you normally throw out.
Yes, how do you use things you normally throw out? And they can go in a meal like this. So these are starting to get a little bit of color on them. We're going to add the broccoli and the green onion to it. And we're just gonna stir fry these. Runaways. Alright, so we're starting to get some bubbling on our soy sauce here, so we're going to turn that off. And we're going to let that sit. And then once these vegetables are cooked, we're going to cook our noodles. Actually, we can probably cook them all together.
When we talked about the vegetables getting color on them, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the vegetables change color. The more you cook them, the color becomes more vibrant.
Yeah, so especially with broccoli, you know, it starts kind of a dull almost, and then as it starts to cook, it's a much brighter green. So that's what we're looking for on that. And then actually, since we're stir frying, I want to get some brownness on them a little bit too. It brings out more flavor. You're caramelizing the natural sugars in the vegetables, and that of course equals flavor. So these won't take long, and then so this is the experiment portion of the show. Because so what we're basically going to do is cook the noodles in the sauce with the vegetables. So the vegetables are not done yet, but the noodles take a few minutes to cook, and if these all simmer together for a few minutes, I think at that point they will be cooked. So we just need to transfer our sauce so we can strain out that lemongrass. Or is there a slotted spoon in that basket? So we're going the cheapest route possible with making this meal. So like I said, use whatever vegetables you have in your refrigerator, and then that's okay. I'll strain it. So we're going with the 20-cent packets of noodles here. We're not going to use the flavor packets. That's what this sauce is for. But if you wanted to turn this dish back into a soup, you can add some broth in at another time after we get this cooked, and then you can turn it into a soup basically. So
She needs it soft.
okay.
You need a bowl?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to just strain out our lemongrass out of here. There's a bowl. I didn't just dump it all down the sink.
I've done that.
I've done it too.
What is that?
Okay.
Nice. We could put the noodles in that.
I got a plan.
We're okay.
Yeah, we're
There's
okay.
a plan, folks.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of, well, this is tapioca flour, but any type of thickener. So cornstarch would be what I normally would do, but this was a smaller bag than my giant bucket of cornstarch. So we're going to add just a little bit. So this is going to help our the sauce thicken and stick to all the vegetables and the noodles. We're going to whisk it together.
And if you don't have a fork work.
Oh, yeah, totally. I was going to use, I don't know, this wooden spoon until that basket of stuff showed up. All right. Oh, I have some sesame oil too that I'm going to throw in, and this is a totally optional ingredient, but it adds a really nice depth of flavor. It's like a rich, nutty, smoky oil. Okay, so we're going to put the noodles into this pan. I'm just going to, I guess, kind of break it up. And then we're going to cover it with our sauce and water that Kathy has over there. So I want the noodles to kind of get down into the vegetables. Yeah. So the sauce is going to go in. How water's going in. That's good. So we're not fully covering the noodles, we just want them to kind of be able to steam in there. And then we're gonna cover this pan with this plate here.
Because it's a lid.
It's with this lid, and we're gonna cook that for 3 minutes, and that should be about enough time to have the noodles absorb some of the broth, the sauce we made plus the water, and then once it's done, we can taste it and we can add soy sauce if we need to. We can add vinegar, sugar, any of the things that we brought. So once that all is absorbed, it's gonna be basically like a noodle stir fry, and at that point, if you want it to be soup, just add in whatever flavor or broth you want to use, and then your ramen turns into soup. You can also do that with your leftovers. If you want to have the stir fry one day, the next day you can turn it into soup. Or instead of using noodles at all, you can use this same method for doing a fried rice or really any type of noodle. Spaghetti, yeah, there's really no limits. No limits on the vegetables, no limits on the flavors, no limits on the vehicle that you use to put it on. Saucy vegetables over starch, I guess, is the
Basically,
result.
that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's like green vegetables over starch of some kind.
Yeah, and so it can be done super
I wouldn't
affordably.
advise doing the rice in the pan.
Yeah,
Is that-
cook your rice separately if you do that, yeah, for sure.
Because that might really muck up the vegetables.
Yeah, the rice takes too long to cook, so your vegetables will likely overcook in that scenario.
Want something to touch that with? No, you have iron hands. Do you even use pot holders in the truck?
Yeah, if there's something really hot, yeah.
Define really hot.
I mean, like a metal pan, like sitting on the flat top, I would use a pot holder for most of the time, yeah. So yeah, these are cooking nicely. We weren't exactly sure how this was going to go, but this is going well. So the challenge basically is that when you're limited to 2 burners, or maybe you have an apartment with just a hot plate, something like that, it is totally possible to make a complete meal. You just have to be a little bit creative and a little bit adaptable when you don't have a whole 4 burner set up in front of you, so you can't make 6 pans dirty in the process of making one dish.
We should all practice using a 2 burner kitchen.
Yeah, I think this is fun and we're
Have you ever stir fried, in a microwave? Have you ever done this in a microwave?
I have
I'm
not.
thinking college students.
Well, the noodles have microwave instructions, I think. So, okay, maybe they don't, but you can totally make them in a microwave. And you can also get microwave, even just steam and bag vegetables. You can just buy them ready to go, so you can kind of heat the components separately and then mix in your sauce, and you for sure could do this in a microwave.
Okay. I'm thinking poor starving college students. I mean, this is a cheap meal, guys.
Yeah, and it can cost as much or as little as you want. If you can save up your soy sauce packets from the takeout place, and you don't even have to buy that. So a lot of the extra stuff we use is totally optional, and it's just stuff that I happen to have in my pantry. But you can adjust the flavors to be whatever you like based on whatever you have on hand. And so hopefully you can see what's happened here. Our noodles are cooking, they're almost done. They've absorbed all of that sauce. So what we have is a thickened sauce from that starch that we added in there. The vegetables have completely cooked, and we're just waiting on a little bit of the noodles to cook down just a touch more.
And this is so easy. I love the speed with which these meals cook. Like the lentil tacos. I don't know why it didn't occur to me. It's faster than when I used to eat meat. You know, it's like 20 minutes and it's done. Oh, they don't even see me. They don't even hear me.
She's just the voice at the end of the screen.
That's right.
Okay, I think this is this is done. Flying parts. Give that a taste.
That's pretty yummy.
I was gonna say, don't say if it's gross. Pretend it's good, and then we'll fix it.
No,
later.
that's pretty yummy. That is really, truly pretty yummy.
Okay, right, so I think,
I recommend it.
so that's it. You got noodles, you got vegetables. I don't know where the best angle to see this is.
No, but there's perfect.
Perfect, okay,
Yes.
awesome. So we're gonna plate this up and eat,
I'll go get plates.
and there you have it. For, you know, even today, I purchased the vegetables and the soup, and I think it still comes out to like $1.25 a person, buying broccoli and peas and noodles. So it's affordable, and we can hopefully make it work for whatever you've got on hand, and we hope you enjoy it.